Hello, everybody. This is Frank Mealy from HeartlandDiaryUSA.com, bringing you news every conservative can use. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay up to date. Well, today was the 2020 Women's March. That was created first in 2017 in response to the election in 2016 of Donald Trump, and is supposed to represent a overview of women's issues and from a Democratic point of view, essentially. Today, CNN on CNN Newsroom had an interview between Christy Paul and a Women's March board member, Issa Noyola. As you'll see, Issa Noyola is, oddly enough, a transgender woman, which means that by birth she was a man. And I found it a little strange that a man was taking the lead role in identifying women's issues. But it's the way things are in 2020, so maybe this is appropriate. Enjoy.
You are looking at the build-up to the 2020 Women's March in Washington. Some drummers and a lot of cheers. And you can see people taking their pictures on their phones. They're going to be marching through the streets and circling the White House. Thousands of people came out for the first march 3 years ago. The movement today is branching out to support several different issues. And that has caused some confusion for some people, but obviously it's not dampening any enthusiasm, as you can see there. Issa Noyola is a board member of Women's March and a Latina transgender activist. Issa, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. It's an exciting day.
It is, and we're so glad to see so many people who showed up. We understood there would be about 30 to 50 buses expected there, mostly from New York and New Jersey, but I'm just wondering, I had heard the primary focus of the march was going to be to mobilize for the 2020 election. What does that mean to you? What are you going to be doing?
It means that our communities are coming out for Trump this year. We are so angry and channeling that rage into empowering our communities, into coming out and engaging our communities in a powerful way so that this administration can come to an end. Because our communities, our powerful women deserve so much more.
There have been week-long issues or week-long events, as I understand it, there, targeting immigration, talking about LGBT, and even the youth movement there, the Youth Rising 2020 that was last night. So there seems to be a much broader scope of what you're focusing on, and that's caused some confusion for some people. Let's listen together here to Marissa Lang from the Washington Post as she talked about why this is maybe contributing to some dwindling numbers for the group. Let's listen.
I think the struggle for this particular organization is finding their place. When the Women's March started in 2017, there was a clear purpose. It was a reaction to the 2016 election. It was to turn people out the day after Trump's inauguration. And now, as we're entering 2020, it's struggling to sort of find its place when it takes up issues like immigration and climate change and reproductive rights. There are a number of other organizations also doing that work. So I think the question is, where does the Women's March fit, and what is their role as we move forward and we go into another election cycle?
Issa, where does the Women's March fit?
The Women's March sits in supporting an intersectional movement for all women, and really interested in answering the question, what does feminism look like in the fight for our planet, in the fight for immigration, for immigrant rights, in the fight for communities that are incarcerated and criminalized. And so we have a role to play, and unfortunately reporters who lack that sort of intersectional analysis have a harder time catching up with what the movement has been doing historically for so many years, that the Women's March is actually falling in line with the larger legacy of women's resistance in this country and around the world.
Okay, so and real quickly, there have been some declines in numbers, as I understand it. And you can please correct me if I'm wrong on that, in terms of the people who are coming out for some of these marches, because there have been some problems in the administration. There have been accusations of mismanagement of funds and accusations of anti-Semitism. We know that you have new leadership at your helm, you being one of them.
Yes.
So what has changed?
Yeah. What is staying is our commitment to this fight. What is staying is that the Women's March is a brand new organization who has so much to win for, so much to fight for, and so much to gain. At this moment, we are continuing the courageous path that so many of our ancestors laid the groundwork for, and we're following that legacy with integrity. And the Women's March has so much ahead this year, not just in marches, and there's going to be so many opportunities and offerings for women to engage and to empower themselves and their communities. This is one moment, this is not the only moment, and our communities are powerful together.
Isa Noyola, it's so good to have you here. Thank you very much. And again, you see behind her the Women's March as it's getting ready to start in just about 6 minutes.
Yes. Yes.